I know it's a little early for you this morning, but so good to hear from you.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Oh, my gosh. You know, sadly, I have no Michelle today, and I have no Cephas. I'm all by myself, but we met at Watershed. We met at Watershed backstage.
Yes.
Because we were
absolutely.
Because we were talking about Keith Urban and his bass player, so... I
know.
That's who you were talking to.
Yes, absolutely. I remember. Absolutely.
Well,
good to get to talk to you again.
Oh, I love it. And, well, once again, we loved you at Watershed. And now here's what I'm going to expose today, Claire, because you really are country music's best-kept secret right now. And I'm going to let the secret out, man. I'm going to let the secret out that you're amazing. You're crazy amazing.
I appreciate that so much, and hopefully we won't be a secret much longer.
That's right. Well, you got a great new song called Move On, which is fantastic. We're going to talk about that here in a couple. And then you've also been named one of those 2015 artists to watch. This is crazy, Claire. Is the success? I know you've been working towards it, but is it becoming real finally?
You know, it's starting to sink in a little bit, though. It's hard for it to sink in because you have your head down for so long, and you just work, and you keep your focus there. So it's kind of nice to let myself look up a little bit, but I don't let myself look up a whole lot. Sure, it's awesome just to see all the support I'm getting, and finally, and it's very hard to comprehend, really.
Well, I'm looking at just the list of people that, number one, congratulations, you're going to be on the Chris Young, Eric Pazlay tour. That's going to be that's some great exposure. But you're everywhere with Lee Bryce, you're with Miranda Lambert. I mean, you're with all the big names. And one of my favorite people that you have opened for, you got to tell me how it was like to open for Bob Seger, of all people.
Oh, my gosh. Well, it was a huge dream come true for me. He was one of my heroes growing up. You know, my parents are both farm kids. But they listened to Bob, when they were in college, and then that music was passed down to me, and I had this huge Seger phase in high school. And so just to get to be out there, he is the real deal, and he is so nice. He would watch me sound check. He'd come over and say hi. I'd be walking down the hall, and he'd give me a big hug. Hey, Claire, and I couldn't even believe he knew my name,
That's awesome.
I would have never expected that, and I wouldn't have cared, So, but he is truly a great human being as well as just a rock and roll legend, absolutely.
What an opportunity. And number one, you also play, what's so cool about you, besides vocals and stuff like that, you play guitar, but it's not just rhythm guitar. You play actual, shredding electric guitar.
Yeah, that was a journey for me. I've only been playing for about 7 years since I moved to town. And it all started out of, I always had a sound in my head, and I kind of always had my sound in my head, and I was always having a lot of trouble explaining it to people, especially guitars, because I feel like guitar is another voice. And so I couldn't explain it. And even though they were great musicians, it was my fault, my error that I couldn't explain it. And so I just decided if I can't tell anybody how I hear it, then I better try and play it, try to learn to play it how I hear it. And that's kind of been the journey. And so now, when I started out on the road really hard and heavy, it was really nice to be able to be my own lead guitar player because it saved me money. so it's worked out.
Economical, and it's also so influential when you listen to a song like Move On. You can hear you in there in those licks too.
Thank you. Yeah, that was me. That was me playing. I played all the guitars on Move On as well as the entire album. So I got to produce and co-produce the whole album as well as Move On. So you're definitely, what you hear is me. It's not someone else's interpretation of what I should sound like. It's what I think I should sound like, and then just that sound that I came to town with in my head.
Well, the awesome song is Move On. Tell us about, have you ever been in this situation, Move On? Do you want the guy to make the move? What's going on with this song? How'd this come to be?
Yeah, well, it was just a page right out of my life. I went through this. I mean, this is what, I'm very shy when it comes to, all of that. I'm not really a first move kind of girl. I'm old school, and I like the guy to make the first move. And, I was just friends with this guy, and I could tell that we both kind of had a little bit of a chemistry there, but I was too shy to really make the move, and I know he kind of was, and so I just was writing a song to try to take it to the next, level.
Right, exactly.
Absolutely. So if you're out there and you're friends with somebody, just play in the song and see if they get the hint.
And so I guess you did the song. I mean, in the end, what happened?
Oh my gosh! Well, coincidentally enough for me, right after I wrote the song, like the day I finished writing the song is when I got offered my record deal, and so
you're like, I got it. You're like, I gotta go.
So it's been on high speed ever since then, and I haven't played it for him yet, although I know he's probably heard it. But I haven't told him it's about him yet.
So we're exposing something here a little bit, yeah. So,
I know. I know.
Well, he would be stupid to pass you up no matter what.
Oh, well, I appreciate you saying that.
So when you play for it, you're like, dude, hint, right?
Hey. Yeah. Just that everyone else can have it, and hopefully it will help them, you know. So. Well,
when I hear the song, I think of Bonnie Raitt. Oh my gosh, I think of so many great guitar players when I hear that song. It's amazing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Well, so how does a girl go from Two Buttes, Colorado? I know that's kind of close to where you grew up. You know, a farm kid on the farm, and you just, you know, how do you go from there to Nashville and just picking up the guitar? And what bug did you get at an early age that said, I'm going to do this for a living?
Well, you know, it's really just kind of been since my first memory actually was standing up in the front seat of my mom's F-150, and we were in town, and I was singing, actually I was making up my own words to Clint Black's The Lights Are On, Nobody's Home. And that was like my first memory just as a child. And then when I was about 6 years old, my mom, you know, I was just obsessed with music, and my mom was like, hey, you know, there's a local production of Hee Haw in Boise City, Oklahoma, which is about an hour and a half away from where we live. And it was just something where all the farmers and ranchers that could kind of pick would get together, and they'd put on their own version of Hee Haw every year. And she asked me, she said, do you maybe want to go sing it? And I just said, sure. And so I sang George Strait, Heartland for the first time. That was my first little performance. And from then, I just was like, holy cow, you can love music and play it, and people may enjoy it, and, you know, I can enjoy it. And so when I was around 12, I realized that you could do it as a living. So that was it for me. Like,
that was it.
There was nothing else I wanted to do.
Well, I think that's how you get to that next level too, because it's not a hobby. Yeah. It's like, this is your livelihood, this is your life, and you're going to do whatever it takes to get there.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And it was, you know, the first 3 years I was in Nashville were very tough. I would go home. I was in college, and I would go home and drive. You know, being a farm kid, I know how to drive a semi-truck and, you know, an 18-wheeler. And so I'd go home and I'd drive a truck for harvest in, like, Kansas and Texas and Oklahoma. And then that was kind of how I helped get tuition money to help pay my way through school. And my family, you know, even when I couldn't be home to drive that truck, somebody would go drive it to keep the wheels rolling on it so that I could be in Nashville. And it was hard, and it was a struggle and sacrifice for everybody, and but we got through it. Then the next 3 years of time in Nashville, as soon as I graduated, I hopped right into a bad music contract unknowingly, and so that took about 3 years of, you know, life and career to get out of that, and finally got out of it a year ago, last January, and you know, had a record deal by last November, and then, you know, here we are today.
Well, it's a crazy, like you said, I feel like your country music's best kept secret right now, but I want to speed you up, because I don't want to look back, Claire, 10 years from now, when you finally get that hit record and everybody's like, wow, she's an overnight success. Where'd she come from?
Absolutely. I'm with you. I like your style.
Oh, no, let's get it down. Let's get it done now. Let's get it done. Let's get you to the top, because you've already paid your dues. Let's get you there. Let's not wait another 6 years.
I appreciate that. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Well, how do they get number one? We love Move On. How do they get the album? How do they get your website? How do they get to Clare Dunn, Claire?
Yes, go to iTunes and download Move On right now. It's up, and then you can go to claredunn.com, ClareDunn, and no I in Claire, and you can get my tour date, and then also we're going to have an EP coming out in September, so stay tuned for all the official announcements on that, and you know, then we're going to be out on tour, so come see us at a show, and you know, rock and roll.
Well, like I said, once again, much continued success. You are now exposed. Everybody knows who you are. The calls are going to start coming. The movie deals are going to start coming. Everything's going to get crazy now, Claire, just because you were on this radio program right here.
That's right. That's right. I appreciate it. Why didn't I think of this sooner?
Exactly, man. When you moved to Nashville, you should have called us first. No, we're just so excited. We loved you at Watershed, and we're looking forward to seeing you on the Chris Young Tour. And like I said, when you get back to our area, you're definitely to come hang with us, and we love you so much, and we just want you to have a great, awesome time out there on the road.
Oh, I appreciate it, and I love y'all so much, and thank you so much for all the support, and I cannot wait to get to come hang with y'all in person next time we're out there. So thank you so very much for everything.